Did you know there's a Texas town where it actually rained meat from the sky? Or that a school explosion in a tiny Texas community changed gas safety laws across the entire United States? Sit tight, y'all, because today on the Lone Star Plate, we're diving into Texas's most bizarre, unbelievable, and downright jaw-dropping true stories. You may think you know the weird side of Texas, but trust me, most folks have never heard tales quite like these. Howdy, y'all, and welcome back to the Lone Star Plate, where we serve up the wildest stories and traditions that make Texas the legendary place it is. If you love hearing the real history and folklore of the Lone Star State, you're in the right spot. Today's video is a wild ride through the strangest true stories ever to come out of Texas, a place where truth really is stranger than fiction. Whether you're a born and bred Texan or just fascinated by the land of big hats and even bigger legends, you'll want to stick around, because by the end of today's video, I guarantee you'll have at least one story to stump even your most Texas proud friend. So, let's jump right into our first tale and hold on to your hats, because this one gets messy. Let me take you to the year 1876, to a little town called Olympia Springs, near Corsicana. One quiet spring morning, folks woke up to find the ground littered with chunks of red meat. That's right, meat. Out of nowhere, it started raining what locals described as beef and venison. For years, nobody could figure out how or why the heavens opened up and hurled steaks across their yards. Eventually, scientists figured buzzards might have been flying overhead after a big meal, got startled, and, well, let's say they lightened their load mid-flight. It's still one of the most bewildering weather events in history, and you can bet it put Olympia Springs on the map, at least in the what in tarnation department. And speaking of bizarre skies, how about Marfa? Imagine driving down a dark West Texas highway and seeing dancing, colorful orbs of light floating across the night plain. The Marfa lights have been mystifying travelers and locals since the late 1800s. People have blamed everything from UFOs to mischievous spirits, and despite dozens of scientific investigations, no one has quite figured out what causes these ghostly lights. Is it car headlights bending in odd ways? Some kind of marsh gas optical illusion? Or something science can't explain? The mystery of the Marfa lights draws visitors from around the world and has given more than a few folks goosebumps on a lonely desert night. Now, let's talk justice, Texas style. In the 1880s, the tiny town of Aurora claimed something absolutely out of this world, that a UFO crashed there, and local townsfolk gave its pilot a Christian burial. Reported in the Dallas Morning News, the story described how residents pulled the mangled ship from a farmer's field and buried its Martian occupant in the local cemetery. To this day, people travel to Aurora just to see the headstone, though it was reportedly stolen, and UFO enthusiasts argue about whether this was a hoax, a misunderstood tragedy, or an actual extraterrestrial encounter that puts Roswell to shame. Either way, only in Texas could an alien get a proper Texas send-off. But not all our strangest stories are happy or spooky. Some are downright tragic, with far-reaching consequences. On March 18, 1937, the small East Texas town of New London suffered the deadliest school disaster in American history. A natural gas leak, undetectable to those inside, ignited and caused a blast that destroyed the school and killed an estimated 300 students and teachers. The heartbreak shook the entire country. But here's the twist. In response, Texas led the charge to add that telltale rotten egg odor to natural gas, so leaks could be detected before tragedy struck again. Today, every time you smell that stink, you can thank a small Texas town whose pain led to a life-saving law. Changing gears from tragedy to triumph, let's tip our hats to Anna M. Kunkel of Fort Worth, also known as the Goat Woman of Texas. In the 1920s and 30s, Anna would drive her trusty Buick loaded with a herd of goats all across Texas, selling goat milk and cheese door to door. Wearing old men's work clothes and a big straw hat, she became a legend not just for her eccentric look, but for her fierce independence in a time when women, let alone ones with livestock in their sedan, just didn't do such things. The Goat Woman lived off the land, turned heads wherever she went, and left her mark as one of Texas's most unique entrepreneurs. But no rundown of Texas's strangest stories would be complete without the legendary case of Elmer McCurdy. In 1911, McCurdy was a failed outlaw who met his end during a botched train robbery near the Oklahoma border. But that was just the beginning. His embalmed body, unclaimed by family, became a traveling sideshow attraction for decades, sold, traded, even hung up in fun houses and wax museums all over the country. It wasn't until the 1970s when a film crew at a California amusement park tried to move what they thought was a mannequin, and his arm broke off, revealing a real bone, finally ending the long journey of Texas's most well-traveled outlaw. Before we round up the herd, here's one more for you, the legendary Chili Queens of San Antonio. By day, these women lived ordinary lives, but at night, they transformed San Antonio's main plaza into a culinary spectacle. Starting in the 1800s, these enterprising ladies would set up open-air stalls, brimming with bubbling pots of chili, homemade tortillas, and fiery salsa. Their food put San Antonio on the map, earned the city the title of Chili Capital of the World, and introduced America to what we think of as Tex-Mex. Without them, who knows if Texas chili would be known, loved, and fiercely debated from here to New York City? Now, I've got to know, which of these bizarre Texas tales do you think is the wildest? Or did you grow up hearing a strange Texas legend you think nobody else knows about? Drop your wildest stories in the comments below. I love hearing from y'all and might just share your story in an upcoming video. And if you got a kick out of today's tales, hit that like button, don't forget to subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss another slice of Texas history. Remember, folks, Texas isn't just a place, it's a state of mind, and sometimes that state of mind is just plain wild. Thanks for riding along with me on the Lone Star Plate. Until next time, keep your boots muddy, your stories tall, and your love for Texas even taller. See you on the next adventure, y'all.